Hello, dear students. Welcome to another session of Human Resource Management. In this session, we will be discussing about performance appraisal. Starting with what is performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is a systematic evaluation of the performance of employees and to understand the abilities of a person for further growth and development. Performance appraisal is generally done in a systematic way. Performance appraisal, in a broader term, is the process of assessing employees' performance by way of comparing present performance with already established standards which have been already communicated to employees, subsequently providing feedback to employees about their performance level for the purpose of improving their performance as needed by the organization. The very purpose of performance appraising is to know the performance of the employee, subsequently to decide whether training is needed to a particular employee or a promotion should be given with additional pay hikes. Performance appraisal is the tool for determining whether employee is to be promoted, demoted, or require training in case of a very poor performance and no scope of improvement. Every corporate sector uses performance appraisal as a tool for knowing about the employees and take decision about particular employee. For the purpose of performance appraisal of employees, there are different methods. There is a defined process which we will be discussing further. The systematic way of doing the performance appraisal is the supervisor measures the pay of employees and compare it with target and plans. The supervisor analyzes the factors behind work performance of the employees, and the employers are in position to guide the employees for a better performance. The next is the objectives, that is the reason behind performance appraisal. Before going towards the objectives, let's study about some definitions of performance appraisal. According to Hale, it is the process of evaluating the performance and qualification of the employees in terms of requirement of the job for which he is employed, for the purpose of administration, including placement, selection for promotion, providing financial rewards, and other actions which require differential treatment among the members of a group as distinguished from actions affecting all members equally. Therefore, performance appraisal is a method where we can identify whether the employee is eligible for promotions and rewards or not, or requires a developmental program. Another definition given by Dale Yoder: performance appraisal includes all formal procedures used to evaluate personalities and contributions and potential of group members in a working organization. It is a continuous process to ensure secure information necessary for making correct and objective decisions on employee. Therefore, we can conclude that performance appraisal is a method to identify the personality, the potential, and the requisite of an individual employee for further promotion or training for an employee. Now next is the objectives of performance appraisal. That is the basic requirement why we are doing performance appraisal. The first foremost is to maintain a record in order to determine the compensation packages, the wages, the salaries, the rises, etc. It is also done to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the employees so that we can place the right men at the right job. It also helps to maintain and assess the potential present in a person for further growth and development. It also helps to provide a feedback to the employees regarding their performance and related status. It also helps to provide a feedback to employees regarding their performance. It also serves as a basis for influencing working habits of the employees. It also helps to review and retain the promotional and other training programs. As we have discussed earlier, performance appraisal is basically done to find out the actual level of an employee in an organization. Now, the performance appraisal process. The performance appraisal process is the process where we can identify the performance of an employee. Before going towards the process, let's first quickly or briefly analyze what is performance. The performance is the actual productivity of an employee, the efficiency and effectiveness of an employee performing in an organization. This helps us to identify at which level of an performance has been done by an employee in an organization. And what is appraisal? Appraisals are the judgments of the characteristics, traits and performance of others, and on the basis of these judgments we can define the worth of that particular individual. Now coming towards the appraisal process. The appraisal process is defined into various steps. The first and foremost is establishing performance standards. Performance standards are those standards which are the task of an employee given to an individual. The standards are set by the higher authorities when an employee is placed in an organization or when an employee is assigned a task. These standards are then communicated to the employee. These are communicated so that the employee is aware what is the expectation of the organization from him or her, and so that he can work accordingly. After communicating the standard, the actual performance of the employee is studied, and after analyzing the actual performance by two methods, there are two methods of analyzing the actual performance, that is traditional method and modern method. These methods we will be discussing later, but I can name them as ranking method, paired comparison method, grading method, forced distribution method, forced choice method, critical incident method, graphic scale, essay method, field review, confidential reports. And the modern methods are management by objective, behaviorally anchored rating scale, assessment center, 360-degree appraisal and cost accounting method. After analyzing the actual performance, there is a comparison between the actual performance with the standard. Now these standards are being communicated when an employee was given the task. When we compare the actual with the standard, we can identify the gap if there is any. Gap means if the performance of the employee is below what was being expected or below from the standard, it means the employee needs to improve the performance. He is given a chance to improve performance by assigning training and development programs. And if the actual performance matches with the standard performance, it means the employee is ready for rewards and promotion. But in case if it is not, then a suitable training programs is being organized. This is about performance appraisal process. Coming towards the next is the advantages of performance appraisal. A performance appraisal, as an every individual requires and is a necessity to be appraised for whatever he or she is doing for the organization. The performance appraisal helps to provide promotion to the employees, to provide proper compensation. Compensation is the remuneration given to an individual as per the task they are doing. The appraisal helps to identify the actual amount of compensation to be given. Employees development. Since appraisal helps in promoting the employee, therefore it directly leads to employee development. It helps in selection validation. It means those employees who are best suitable can be selected for further development in the organization. Helps in proper communication so that an employee is aware how and what level of performance he is giving, whether it is good or bad. Both the levels should be communicated to the employee so that he can either maintain or improve the existing performance. And it is most importantly a source of motivation. Motivation, when an individual is given a reward or a recognition, he is motivated to perform better and better so that the process of reward and recognition continues for him in the organization. Now, the methods of performance appraisal, that is the tools and techniques used for the performance appraisal. The first and foremost is the ranking method. The ranking system requires the rater to rank his subordinates on overall performance. This consists in simply putting a man in a ranking order. Under this method, the ranking of an employee in a work group is done against that of another employee. The relative position of each employee is tested in terms of his numerical rank. It may also be done by ranking a person on his job performance against another member of the competitive group. The advantages of ranking method is employees are ranked according to their performance level, and it is easier to rank the best and the worst employee. The next is the forced distribution method. This is a ranking technique where raters are required to allocate a certain percentage of rates to certain categories. For example, superior, above average, average, below average, or on the basis of percentile like 10%, 20%, 30%. Both the number of categories and percentage of employees to be allotted to each category for a function of performance appraisal, design and a format. The advantage of this method is that it is not biased, and by the forced distribution according to predetermined percent, the problem of making use of different raters with different scale is avoided. Then the next is critical incident method. Under this method, the manager prepares list of statements of very effective and ineffective behavior of an employee. These critical incidents or events represents the outstanding or poor behavior of the employee or the job. The manager maintains log of each employee, whereby he periodically records critical incident of the worker's behavior, and at the end of the rating period, these recorded critical incidents are used in the evaluation of the worker's performance. Now, the advantage of critical incident technique is this method provides an objective basis for conducting a thorough discussion of an employee's performance. This method avoids biasness done by the performer who is evaluating the performance. Now, there are various other methods of critical incident of performance appraisal, like graphical scale method, where a graph of an individual employee is made on the basis of different scales. Another method is essay method, where a supervisor or a senior authority writes an essay on an individual employee based on the performance. Field review method, according to the field they have performed in the field, and a confidential report made by the higher authorities related to the working of an individual employee. The modern methods we will be discussing in our next session. Thank you.